Remember, we fight for what's right because it's time to go right.
As the year grows quiet and the noise fades away, we pause for a moment on this Christmas day to remember faith, family, and the ties that still hold. The values that matter never fade, never grow. From Go Ride with Peter Boykin, we wish you peace tonight. Merry Christmas, America. May hope still guide your light with liberty and love and truth that still stands tall. May Christmas remind us what unites us all. Merry Christmas from Go Right with Peter Boykin.
When enemies laid down arms for Christmas, can America still remember what unites us? Christmas has always carried a strange power. It sneaks past politics, ideology, and even war, reminding people who they are when the noise fades. One of the clearest examples did not happen in a church or a town square, but in the frozen mud of Europe during World War I. In December 1914, soldiers on the Western Front had been locked in brutal trench warfare for months. Death had become routine. Morale was collapsing. And even Pope Benedict XV had tried and failed to persuade leaders to allow a Christmas ceasefire. The machinery of war kept grinding forward. And then something unexpected happened. On Christmas Eve, German soldiers began singing carols. British troops answered back from across no man's land. Slowly, cautiously, men climbed out of their trenches, and what followed became known as the Christmas truce. Soldiers who had been trying to kill each other hours earlier shook hands. They shared wine and cigarettes. They laughed together, and they buried their dead. Some accounts describe fir trees lit with candles along the trenches. Stories of soccer games are likely exaggerated, but the truth is still extraordinary without embellishment. And for a brief moment, peace on earth was not a slogan, it was reality. The truce was never official. Commanders discouraged it, fearing it would weaken the war effort. It did not happen everywhere, but historians estimate roughly two-thirds of the troops in certain sectors, nearly 100,000 men, participated. And in some areas, fighting resumed by Christmas night. In others, the calm lasted days longer. What mattered was not how long it lasted, but that it happened at all. Christmas has a way of interrupting even the darkness chapters of human history. That same longing for peace echoes through one of the world's most famous Christmas songs ever written. Many people do not realize that Silent Night was born of war. The original poem was written in 1816 by young Austrian priests reflecting on the devastation left behind by the Napoleonic Wars. It was first performed a few years later at a Christmas Eve service, not as a grand production, but as a quiet plea for calm and restoration. Many, many decades later, the song crossed borders and languages, and a recording by Bing Crosby would go on to sell more than 30 million copies, making it one of the best-selling singles in history. A song written in the shadow of conflict became a global anthem of peace. And that matters for America. Christmas in the United States has never been just about gifts or decorations. It has been a cultural pause button, a moment when communities slow down, families gather, churches fill, and people remember shared values like mercy, humility, generosity, and hope. Even for Americans who are not religious, Christmas has long functioned as a civic tradition that reminds the country it is more than elections, outrage cycles, or power struggles. That reminder feels especially needed now. This year at Go Right News and Go Right NC, we did not shy away from uncomfortable conversations. It was a very rough year, folks. We focused heavily on local elections and why they matter more than viral national arguments, and we examined school funding and accountability and asked whether public trust can exist without transparency. We've covered housing pressures, evictions, and the quiet policy failures that shape daily life more than the speeches in Washington. And we challenged both parties when they drifted from constitutional principles, individual liberty, and basic accountability. Through articles, commentary, podcasts, music, and visual storytelling, hashtag GoRight with Peter Boykin, me the host, pushed one consistent message. A constitutional republic only works when citizens stay engaged, informed, and willing to look past slogans. Freedom requires responsibility. Rights come with duties. And real change often starts locally, not on cable news. Christmas puts all of that into perspective. If soldiers in World War I could stop firing long enough to sing together in the snow, Americans can certainly pause long enough to listen to one another. That does not mean surrendering convictions. It means remembering that disagreement does not require dehumanization. Accountability does not require cruelty, and patriotism does not require blind loyalty to any party or politician. Christmas reminds us that peace is not weakness. It is discipline. As another year closes, Go Right News remains committed to asking hard questions, defending constitutional values, and elevating the conversations that matter at the local and national level. But for this moment, it is worth stepping back and remembering why those values matter in the first place. Even in the trenches, Christmas found a way. From me, I gotta say to y'all, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year that's coming. From hashtag GoRight with myself, Peter Boykin, GoRightNews.com, and GoRightNC.com. God bless.
Snow fell quiet on broken ground. Boots stood still where guns once sound. A lonely carol crossed the night, from trench to trench by candlelight. hands once clenched, now woven wide. Strangers met where fear had died. No orders given, no flags waved, just weary souls who still felt brave enough to sing, enough to see the man behind the enemy. Candles in the snow tonight, voices rising soft and low. For one brief hour the world was right, and peace was more than words we know. Lay down the hate, lay down the fear. Hear the bells, the hope is near. Candles in the snow tonight. On Christmas Eve all hearts were home. Fir trees glowing by the light, wine and bread and borrowed time, photographs and letters shown of lives and loves back home unknown. Not victory, not loss or pride, just living men on either side. No crown or throne, no battle cry, just heaven watching from the sky as angels held the breath of war and asked us what we fight for. Candles in the snow tonight, voices rising soft and low. For one brief hour the world was right, and peace was more than words we know. Lay down the hate, lay down the fear. Hear the bells, the hope is near. Candles in the snow tonight. On Christmas Eve all hearts were home. From silent nights of years gone by to towns lit warm beneath our sky, the song still calls, the lesson stays. We choose our path in simple ways, not by force or shouted blame, but mercy spoken just the same. Hope and bills only, soft choir humming. Candles in the snow tonight, church bells ring in distant towns. Faith and hope still hold their ground. Where love is laid, no war is found. Lay down the noise, remember why we lift our eyes on Christmas night. Candles in the snow tonight. Peace on earth is born inside. Sleigh bells slow and fade, single harp note, silent. that.